to make that this session is recorded, please, we are going to look at dashboards. How do you build a dynamic dashboard? Yes, pivot tables are used for analyzing the data. If you want to visualize, you can use what you call pivot charts from the pivot tables. So if you did not learn how to come up with pivot tables, it is going to become hard for you to visualize the data. So how do you visualize data? It starts with data analysis, and from the data that you have analyzed, that's where you draw the visuals from. How do we then come up with a pivot table? I'll give you a quick recap on that. I said if you have a data like this, you first turn it into as a table. You first turn it into a table. How do you do it? You just press a combination of Control T. After that, you just go and click on Insert, and you'll be able to see the word pivot table. Once you click on it, it will ask for the table name. You can leave it as table 1, and then you start visualizing the data. Analyzing the data. So let us say you want to look at sales by region. So that means you need the regions field, you need the sales field, and also if you're saying that you want to know how much we were able to make between June and December 2025. Maybe that's what we want to look at. We want to see the sales volume, the sales value from the month of June to December 2025. You need the date field, you need the regions field, and then you need the total revenue or the total sales that you are able to make. So I'll put this under total price. So now we are able to have the following. We have the regions: east, north, south, and western. And also now what is remaining, it is to put that constraint, that date. So I can put it here. We want the year, and then we want also the month. So we want the year. We don't want quarters. Let me first redo. We want the date. We want the year. You just drag and drop in the filter. We know what the filter does. I don't want quarters. So the filter, it is just there to filter out some information. We want 2025 sales. We can even choose that the month from June. We want from June, July, August, September, October, and then December. After that, you can click OK. So these are sales from the month of June to December. Okay. So after that, you can put commas or separators. You can remove the decimal places just like that. Now it is showing row labels. What are row labels? So if you want to change that, we need to change the table format or the report format, and we say show in tabular form. That's how it will change. If you want to redesign this, you can choose different layouts of the pivot table. You can use this. You can choose to use this. There are many. So this is what we have so far. So now, if we want to insert maybe a pie chart, if we want to insert maybe a bar graph or something, how then do we do it? So you just go and click on insert and then pivot chart again, and they're going to list a number of them. You want a column chart, you want a line chart, you want a pie chart, you want a bar graph, you want a map, what do you want? So let's say we're interested in the pie chart. So there are different pie charts, you can choose any. There is this 3D pie, there is pie of pie, there is bar of pie, there is a donut. So we can use a donut pie chart, and after that we can click OK. So this is a donut chart. So this donut chart, it's not nice. So what do we need to do? We need to go and click on we need to go and click on design, and then we are able to see different things. And after that, if you feel like maybe this is nice for you, you can choose it. You can choose to use this as long as it is what you want. Okay, you can resize it. Okay, so let us use this. Let us use, there are quite many. You can use that. This is what we call data visualization. So when someone sees a 10%, they can easily make an insight out of it. So we can use this. Okay, so now we are looking at coming up with a dashboard. A dashboard means having a lot of navigations whereby you can be able to see numerous things. So let's say we are interested in knowing maybe the sales value per sales officer. So remember, we have the sales officers in our data set. They are here. We can be able to know each and everyone's contribution. So how do we achieve that? You can really use this. You can use this pivot table. Let us reuse. You just copy and paste it somewhere. But when you're copying, let me first redo that. When you just copy from this is not a pivot table. Okay, that's why it's not even active. So make sure you know how to copy. And then how do you copy? We have to copy everything, even the filters. So I can copy like that, and then I choose to paste it here. So we are going to develop the dashboard from these pivot tables that we are constructing. So now what we don't want the regions, we want the salesperson. So that means I'm going to put this back, and then I put that field of sales person, just like that. Okay, so what else do we want? Maybe we are interested in knowing how much we correct from each of the payment methods. Management is interested in knowing which one is maybe which payment method generates more revenue to the business. Maybe that's why we should put more emphasis. So we need to know that. So instead of salesperson, here we can put what we call the payment method. So I'm going to remove this, and then I use this. Okay. So we know in cash it's generated between the month of from the month of June December, cash generated 55,276. Credit card 13,366. Debit card 11,296. Gift card 28,057. Online, it is generating 28,674. So which one generates more money? Cash, I think. So, and this is something that we need to encourage our customers to use. Yes. So we are going to perform visuals, okay, from this. It is the same thing I said. If you want to come up with maybe any visual, you go to insert, pivot chart, and then pivot chart again. Maybe this time around you need a line graph or a line chart. You can use stacked. There are many, so you can choose any that interests you. So we have this. This is reporting sales officers performance. And now when we are done with this, we can again go and be able to edit it a bit to make it more appealing. So you can choose this. So these are just designs that we can be able to use. So you can choose to use this. Okay, there's also this, there's also this, there's also that. So you pick any. So how many do we have? We have this and this. So let us also report on this. On the payment methods, we go to insert. You choose the pivot table first. You go to insert, pivot chart. Now we are going to use a bar graph, just like this. Okay, so now there are 3. You can have many as you can. So now let us come up with another pivot table. Maybe we want to know, remember these sales officers, they have what we call the managers that they report to. So if again we want to report, if you want to know who reports to who, okay, just moving this. So these are sales officers. So if you want to know who reports to who, and then who is generating more money compared to the other. So we have the regional managers, or managers of these sales officers, these ones. So if you want to know who reports to who, and then which sales office, which regional manager generates more money, who is performing better, okay, compared to the other. So we can also reuse this pivot table. We can just copy, we paste it somewhere, maybe like here. Okay, so now what else do we need to add on this? We need to just add the region manager. We can just drag it here. Okay, so now this is our pivot table for that. But if you were to look at it, it is having subtitles. I see Carlos, this, Bob, this. These are, sorry, let me first reorganize them properly. I want the regional managers first, and then the sales officers. I think it has improved. So now we know who reports to who. So we know that Cameroon has 4 sales officers. Eric has 5. We know that Raihan has 5 as well. Sophie has 2 sales officers that she's managing. Wendy is having 5 as well. So, and then how much? So each is having a subtotal. So if you're not interested in these subtotals, you just want a grand total, just only this. If you want only this, what you do, you can go to design and then subtotals, you click on this drop down, then don't show subtotals, and then that will disappear just like that. So that's it. Now after coming up with these visuals, now we want to come up with what we call a dashboard. But before that, friends, do we have questions? If you have any question, please just unmute yourself before we start developing the dashboards. Friends, do we have do we have any questions? Hello? Any question? Okay, if we do not have any question, let us learn something. Is what we call slicers. Slicer is something in which you can be able to pick and it is going to if you click on something, okay, let us see it practically. So how do we insert slicers? Slicers come from what we call pivot tables. Also, you can just go and click on any, and then you click on what we call pivot chart analyze or analyze. You choose any, and then insert slicer. How do slicers work? You choose on something that you want to report. Maybe you want to use what we call you're looking at maybe the salesperson. You can choose this as your slicer. Let me show you how it works. So a slicer, if we click on Bob, so this is the money that Bob collected from each payment method. If we click on Carlos, this is Carlos what she this is what Carlos was able to generate using these payment methods. Diana, this is the money. This is changing. Pivot table is changing, and as well as the visual. So if we click on Eve, it is also changing. This is what we call slicers. So now we are going to combine all these visuals, the slicer, these graphs, the pie charts into one sheet. And that's what we shall form what we call a dashboard. Okay, so now I'm going to open a new sheet just like this. It is empty. So that means we are going to copy all our visuals and we put them there. So usually, if you want it to be, you don't want these grid lines, you can remove them. How do you remove these grid lines? These boxes, you just go and click on View, and then you uncheck the grid lines. So they have disappeared. That's how we remove grid lines. You go to View, and then you uncheck. So if you check it, that's how we remove grid lines. So usually you put the company logo, you put all the things that are required. So we're going to just copy and paste our visuals. Let us start with this. We can just cut it and then we paste it this side. Okay, we can paste it here. We can paste this visual here. What else do we want? We can also cut another one. To cut it is Control X, you select it, Control X, or you can right click on it and then you cut it. Okay, let me paste it here. You organize them such that they are visually appealing. Okay, just like this. Just need to be more creative a little bit. So what else? Let us cut our slicer. We select it and then we cut it. And then for it, we can be able to paste it somewhere. We can paste it here. Okay. What else? I think that we need also to cut the pivot chart. We select it. We cut it. Okay. So if I minimize my screen, sorry, let me minimize it a bit. I'm just minimizing the screen. Just resizing, doing some editing. Okay, this is our slicer. So you can have more and more visuals. Let us, how many do we have? We copied all of them. I think we didn't create for this. Okay, now let us create another one. From the regional managers, I said we go to insert and then pivot chart. Let us come up with another one. Maybe we can use a line. We can choose to use this. Let us try to use this. Now we can go to design to try to change its layout. I think this is more crowded. Okay, we can choose to use this. I'm going to cut it and then I paste it to our dashboard. So now we need to put what we call, so far this is our dashboard. This is how it looks like. So now if you can see, if you click on Alice, it is just one video that is changing. But we want, if we click on Carlos, the pivot chart is changing. This is also changing, but now it is the bar graph that is changing. So if we click on Diana, so now how do we connect this pivot chart? Sorry, this slicer to all our pivot chart. How do we do it? So it is very easy, but I want to first ask you whether you are able to understand where we are. the copying and pasting, or in case you're lost, please feel free to ask. So now, if we say we want maybe this to appear like this, okay, so how many? There are 6. So if we have to put 1, it is just in 1 column, so that means we can add more columns to have 1 person per column. So we can just add, you can just come and set it from here. Maybe we want 6 columns, and then it is going to change. So we want our slicer to be here, as you can see. So we can be able to, there are some slicer styles which are nice. We can choose to use this. Okay, so if you click on if, this is changing, so now how do we then connect this slicer? If we click on cursor, this visual is changing, this is also changing, it's also changing at the same time. Okay, so now let me put this here such that we are able to have something that we can manage. Let me try to minimize the screen such that we can see all our dashboards. So you can reorganize them in a way that is more meaningful. This is just for learning purposes. You can even enlarge this. We can choose to enlarge this. Just like that. Okay, so now what do we want? We want to connect this slicer to all these charts. How do we do it? So you go and click on the slicer, you go to options, report connections, and then you are going to connect it to all our pivot tables. You can connect it to pivot table 6, pivot table 4, pivot table 2. I think we are done. Pivot table 1, pivot table, I think these ones, we can stop on that. So now if we choose colors, you can see that things are, all of them are changing. Okay, let me try to reduce the screen. So if we click on let's say if we click on, let's say if we click on let's say we click on, just a moment, I'm trying to reorganize such that they are visual appealing. So if we click on colors, everything is changing. We can choose to choose multiple. So this is what happens. So we want to know how is maybe Bob is performing region wise. I think Bob is covering north and east. I don't know if you are able to see the screen. Let me enlarge this. We are able to see that Bob is covering north and east. In north, generates 62%, east 38%. So debit card, sorry, credit card, it's also here. We can also zoom in a bit. Sorry, let me first put this there, this side. So we are able to see that he uses credit card, cash, and gift card. So cash generates more than credit to this person. And at the same time, gift card generates more than this. This is data visualization. So what about Carlos? Carlos handles how many regions? West, North, East, and Central. It generates more money from the West, and then it goes ahead to East, followed by North by taking 7%, and then Central 3%. I think that's it. Diana, at the same time. So this is what we call data visualization. So I don't know if we are following when they were trying to present presidential results on the I don't know which channel, but I think it is NBS. I think we are seeing things like this. So they are saying that now let me see how Bobby Wine is performing in this side. So this is the analysis. So we are able to see the pie charts and also the maps of different areas. So we can see Diana. So this is what we call data visualization. I think we have spent more time here. Actually, you can even choose to click on flank at the same time. You click on Diana. What you do is you choose one, just like this, and then you press Control on your keyboard. You select another, go to another. Okay, so we have selected 4 sales officers, and then this is their performance with these visuals. So now, how do we remove or clear filter? These are filters in the slicer. So here, if you click on the slicer, you can just click on this and you clear the slicer and everything is showing. The slicer is used to filter. So this is what we call timeline. So timeline and the slicer, they are different. Slicer, it is for things like which are not related to time. Then the timeline, it is for time. So if you want to know what was the performance from 8 to 9, you can be able to choose that. So that's the timeline. So in our data set we don't have the time. So, but if you want to do it, you can actually you can even use it for months. So that's a slicer. Now, if you want a timeline, you can choose a pivot. You can choose any pivot table, and then you go to analyze, and then you insert what we call a timeline. You can choose it on the date. Okay. Then you can say what was the performance between this period and this period. Okay. So now let us also copy this. We put it there side. Let us copy it and then we put it here. So the timeline is for time, maybe in date. So I think we already have the filters. We have already filtered from June to July to August to September. So if we had selected, maybe let me first remove the filters on this. Maybe we want all the years. We want all the years. So not only 2025, we can just make it all on all our pivot tables. All the months, all the months, just like that. Yes. And then also on this, we do the same thing. Just want to show you how the timeline works. So it's also a filter. It filters the periods. So I can put it on maybe this. I choose it. I go to analyze, pivot chart, analyze, and then insert timeline. On date, then I click OK. I can cut it, and then I go this side, paste it here, so we can try to maximize it a bit. Okay, so if you go to options, you can be able to there's what we call a scroll bar. This one, it is showing all the months. Okay, we have the periods, so you can just use the scroll bar. You can even remove it. Okay, but if you want it, you can leave it there. So if you choose May, then the May performance will change. So if you want to connect it to all your reports, you do the same thing. You go to options, report connection, and then you choose all the pivot tables. Select all the pivot tables. Pivot one, I think those ones, and then you stop there. So if you want to see match performance, you can click on match, and then all the reports are going to change. Okay. So if we choose June, that is also going to change. So this is what we call data visualization. I want to thank you so much for listening to me. I remain as Robert Kawalya. Thank you. Back to you for questions.